It's funny, on this Facebook Live, I cannot really tell who watches. There's a list of people who come up, and the list could be people who just are scrolling down their news feed, and that's how they see it.
Yeah, that's part.
Yeah, so there, it could say, you know, you've had 100 views, and I'm like, there's no way 100 people are taking this class. So, and there's just barely 100 people in the group. So
You'll be able to see that I haven't been doing yoga.
Well, you've been doing Pilates though. You've been doing Pilates.
I have been doing it.
So, be careful. If it's been a long time, you're doing your own practice, I know, and I'm gonna get the light. That's okay. I would also got to turn this light on. Okay. So just be easy, and I couldn't do yoga for at least 4 months. So when I did start back at home, I just first thing in the morning now I go to my mat and I just do whatever I feel like. I don't push it. And it's really helped me a lot. So, you know, we're all pretty stressed out these days, so.
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago, I started doing the first thing in the morning. It's like, wow, everybody's starting to feed it 10 minutes or 40 minutes, it doesn't matter.
I know, isn't it awesome? It's great. It's really a great way to start the day. You're right. I mean, that's what because usually, you know, I'd get up and get ready to come teach, but I wouldn't first thing in the morning go to my mat. Not for a long time, but it's really nice. So, let's start. Close your eyes. Let yourself sit comfortably. You know, to adjust your legs to be comfortable in your hips. And just be mindful. Let your eyes close and feel that length up through the crown of your head. And let your breath come in fully and deeply. Feeling the breath coming into your belly. And if you're comfortable to come in towards those 3-part breaths, you can inhale into your belly, into your ribs, all the way up into your chest. Easily start to make little circles with your torso. It doesn't matter which direction you go. Just starting to let your breath carry you, letting your exhales bring you forward and your inhales bring you back. They can be very small, or circles can get bigger and bigger if it feels very good to you to get bigger and bigger with those circles. We are going to go in the other direction with the circle, so you stop where it feels good so that you can just reverse and go in the other direction. Let yourself finish off coming forward, right? And bring your hands there if you need for support. Walk yourself out a little bit. If it feels good to go a little farther or deeper, do. You know, pay attention to how your back feels. Feel your feet gently pressing down into the mat a little bit so you feel the outside edges of your feet. And then come over towards your left and put your left hand on the floor there beside you and just bring your right hand up to your right hip and roll up with that right shoulder so you come into a little side stretch. And then we'll come on back through center. We're going to walk over towards the right. Bring your right hand there on the floor to give you a little support and bring your left hand to your left hip and just roll your shoulder up a little bit. And then we'll come on back down again and come back to center. And we'll walk ourselves on back up, bringing your fingertips on out onto the floor beside you here now. Let's inhale both arms all the way out and up overhead. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. And unfold your arms. Let's switch the cross of our legs if we're cross-legged. If you're not, that's fine. Just ease your legs out. Take your time. And we're going to come in again to those easy circles. So letting yourself start to come into feeling the length of the spine, letting yourself just allow your exhales to bring you forward, your inhales to bring you back. The next time you end up forward, let yourself stay there. Again, you can have support wherever you want, on your legs, hands to the floor. You can walk out farther if that feels good. If you feel like you want to fold over there at the end, do. Releasing your head, let go here. Let your jaw relax, your face. And we'll come on up. And we'll walk to the right, so let yourself come out over your right thigh. Bring your right hand to the floor there. And then go ahead and add your left hand to your hip again. This time, let this left hand trail up by your ribs, your shoulder, and reach long, a little bit longer into your side stretch here. And then we'll come on back, down with that hand, walk back through center, and we'll go the other side. So bringing that left hand there, bringing your right hand to your right hip. And then again, adding the arm up and over if you choose. You don't have to. Coming into your side stretch there. And then we'll come on back to center, walking ourselves on back to center. And then walking on back up again. Bringing the fingertips out onto the floor beside us. Let's inhale the arms all the way out and up overhead. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. And from here, let's all stretch our right leg out and bring our left foot into the inside of our leg, right? Doesn't matter how high or low. If you need support, grab a block, put it underneath to give you support on the outside of your leg. And then we're going to come a little bit forward here. So flexing through that foot, feel the heel drawing back towards you. Let yourself come forward a little bit to wake up the hamstring a little bit more here. You can reach for your foot if you want to. You can keep your hands on your leg or beside your leg. Just take your time. Let it feel great to open up the back of that leg there. Be with your breath. Good. And now come up, stretch that left leg out, and now we're going to cross the ankle. So cross our left ankle on top of our right. Come forward just a little bit now, and you're going to let your right hand come as far down your legs as you can, and turn into a twist, bringing your left hand up onto your hip or your low back. So you're kind of getting into the outside of that top leg, right? Good. And then we'll release to come on back up. Bring our left leg long. Our right foot's going to come in this time to the inside of the thigh or the calf. Use the block if you need. Ease your way into that forward bend there. Maybe it's an inch, right? Doesn't have to be more than just the idea of coming forward, right? If it's really hard for you and you feel like your hamstring is really tight or you're real tight in your low back, don't push it. Just allow your body to adjust here. Take your time. Feel the heel drawing back towards you a little bit here. And then we'll come on back up and bring that leg back long. And now bring your right ankle on top of your left. Come forward just a little bit and then bring your right hand to your right hip. You can decide how far down you want that left hand to go. You know, it might go to your foot, it might not. And let yourself come into feeling the outside of that right leg there. Breathe. huge wide angle or anything, just a little bit. And then just circle through your feet a little bit, kind of flippy flop your legs a bit. And then bring your hands onto the top of your legs and come on forward here and let yourself, doesn't mean you have to be really wide to get a little more into the inner thighs or the backs of the legs, right? Feel good about opening through the inner thighs, opening a little more in the hamstrings, and then feel in the back still. Come on, back up, bring your legs on forward here now, and now bring your left arm on top of your right, but let your right hand, instead of the hug up to your shoulder, be kind of down at your ribs, right? And then start to just tilt your head away from the hand here that's up on your shoulder. So just take your time, let your neck release there, and just breathe, let the weight of the head help you release a little bit. And then it doesn't matter what side you were on, just switch. So once the hand comes over to the shoulder and the other one comes down to the ribs here, you're going to tilt away from that hand. So the weight of the hand there on your shoulder helps you release the side of the neck there. And just breathe. And then we'll release and come on down to our hands touching the floor again. And then walk your hands backward just a little bit. You can stay up on fingertips or you can go flat to your hands. That's up to you. Drawing your chest forward, let yourself open up through the front body here. Just allowing the breath to come in. Imagine you're breathing into your lungs from the bottom to the top. And then we'll come on back up. Bring your chin down towards your chest for a second. Release there. Turn your head a little bit side to side. Feel some tightness and you want your head to hang in a certain place, do it. And then we're going to come on back up. We're going to come around towards our hands and knees. So if you know you need a blanket, you know, if you brought one, or you can use one of mine, I'll take it home and wash it, you know. So if you really want a blanket and you forgot one, use one of mine, grab one, and then just leave it off and I'll wash it. So start to move through your back. Let yourself really enjoy the tailbone initiating as you flow through your cat-cows with your own breath at your own timing. And then finish off the one you're on and come to more neutral spine again. Now from here, we're going to curl our toes under, lift our knees up, and come back into a down dog. So reaching your way back. Now walk if you need to. Let yourself spread your fingers wide. Feel your elbows hugging gently towards each other. Let it be a wake-up dog, yeah? Let it feel really good to engage your whole body here and find that length in the spine, in the backs of the legs. Then bring your knees on back down. And come back to a couple of cat-cows again. Move back through your cat-cow. Easily. Let it feel really good to do that. And then come back again to the neutral spine. Curl your toes under. Lift the knees up just a little bit. Stay there for a second. And then go ahead and reach back into your down dog again. Walk if you need. Feel the hands on the mat. Make sure you're not rolling to the outside edge of your hands. Really feel your thumbs, your pinkies, your pointer fingers, your ring fingers, your middle fingers. And then from here, we're going to bring the knees back down to the floor. And we're going to step our left foot forward to find a lunge. So you know if you like your blocks, grab your blocks. Hands can be on whatever surface you like to use, whatever height. So coming into that first lunge, take a peek back at your right foot. Make sure you've got your heel reaching directly behind your foot. Really enjoy coming into the length of the spine here now. And then we're going to switch and come to the other side. So remember, just get those feet a little bit apart the wide way like you're on really narrow railroad tracks so your hips feel nice and natural and good. Front knee is bent no farther forward than your ankle. Good. And we're gonna switch again. This time, if you can, if you need a blanket, grab it, but if you can, lower that back right knee down to the floor and press gently into the top of your foot as you shift your hips a little bit forward, right? Just really opening up there. If you want more, you know, you can bring your hands up higher. You can bring your hands up to your thigh if you want. You can bring your hands to your heart. You can bring the arms up overhead, or you can have nothing to do with that, right? You can keep your hands down as low as you want. And then we'll come on back down with the hands if they're up. We're going to curl the toes under, lift the knee back up, find our lunge, and we'll switch legs. So again, once you get into your lunge, slowly lowering that back knee down, come to the top of that back foot, press into the top of the left toes there. Let yourself open up through the front of the hip. Again, if you want more, sometimes just a forearm can come up to your thigh, right? That might feel pretty good rather than going up to hands where your body comes up more, or hands to the heart, or arms overhead. And then we'll all bring hands back down if they were up. Curl your toes under, lift your knee up. And we're going to come forward into standing forward bend. So making your way now into Uttanasana. Feet hips distance apart and parallel. Let yourself release your head. In fact, nod or shake your head a little bit. Let yourself feel the weight of your head. Now you might even let your shoulders turn a little bit, like when you turn your head one way, kind of let your shoulders go along too. Remember to use support if you need it. Hands on the blocks, elbows above the knees. Knees can be bent. Keeping those sit bones over your heels. One more nice breath, feeling the expansion of the ribs as you inhale. And then we'll bend our knees and press into our feet. We're going to rise up to standing and inhale the arms all the way out and up overhead. Letting our exhale bring our hands down together in front of our hearts. So finding your mountain pose, ease your way into mountain. Walk a little bit if you need to in place. Get your feet really set there. Bringing your hands to meet there in front of your chest, in front of your heart, and bringing your gaze out. Whether your eyes are opened or closed, looking straight on out as though you're looking at the horizon. Feeling very balanced between your feet. If it helps you to sway a little bit, remember you can shift a little bit forward and back, or shift a little bit right to left, just getting that sense of the central plumb line of your body there now. And then just imagine you're being held up by the space all around you. So there's a sense of being very effortlessly in your mountain pose. And then we'll unfold our arms on down beside us. And inhale both arms all the way out and up and overhead. And on the exhale, bend the knees as you come forward into your standing forward bend here. Let your next inhale help you find a nice long back. Hands can come to your shins or to the floor or to your blocks. And let's step the right foot back into lunge, coming into that first sun salutation. Inhale. Exhale into downward facing dog pose. Yay for the dog again. So again, take your time. Move however you need to, whatever that means. Wagging your tail or walking or turning your head. If it feels good, you can turn your head side to side. Good. And then on the next inhale, we'll come out to plank. Nice strong plank. Engage your belly here. Take your time. Let yourself reach your sits bones down towards your heels. And we're going to lower down. If you need to put your knees down first, do. Elbows right by the ribs. Now let's come into a sphinx at first, bringing our elbows right underneath our shoulders. Spread your fingers wide. Let your gaze come between your hands there, opening up through the front body. Just gently engaging your belly, but trying not to overly grip like your buttocks, right? Your belly is gently engaged. And then come back down. Bring your hands back by your shoulders here, your upper ribs. And we're going to come on up into a cobra, whether it's a little cobra where you're lifted up here Or maybe you want to lift all the way into your full cobra pose, elbows hugging in, letting your shoulders come down away from your ears. And then from here, we're going to come back down. We're going to shift back to pose of a child from here. Letting yourself shift on back into your child's pose. Arms stay overhead. Take a breath here. And then shift back up to all fours. Curl your toes under and come on back to down dog. And then from here, we'll bring our right foot forward to find the lunge. Remember, you can put your left knee down to get there. And then we'll come on back into our standing forward bend. Now don't do this if it bothers your back, but if you can bring your hands up to your low back and interlace your fingers and rest your hands there, do. Obviously don't do that if it's too much in your back. Keep your support under your hands, or keep your forearms there above your knees if that's the best way. And breathe though. Just accept your breaths. Fully and deeply in and out. Let's press into our feet equally. Bend our knees. Rise up. Keep your hands behind you or bring them behind you if you can. Let yourself stay there for a breath or two. Feel your tailbone dropping down. Feel that openness across the chest. And then release your arms beside you here now. We'll inhale both arms all the way out and up overhead. And on the exhale, we're going to come forward again into standing forward bend. Let your inhale lengthen out your spine. And we'll step left foot back to come into lunge here. And inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Good. Let's let our inhale bring us out to our plank. Now, if you can, just let one knee bend down towards the mat and then bring it back up. So you're walking your plank a little bit. Coming to the other side. Take your time. See if you can do a couple more walks here in your plank. Belly stays strong. And then finish off. We're going to come down to the mat. So again, if you want to put your knees down first, do. Elbows right by the ribs. And we'll come into a cobra, whether you stay low or press into your hands and come up. That's totally up to you. Remember, elbows hug in, shoulders away from the ears. And then from here, we're going to come on back to down dog. You can come down first, or you can just come right from your cobra if you choose. And we'll bring the left foot forward to come into lunge. And then we'll come all the way forward into standing forward bend. If you're okay to hold your elbows, let yourself do that. If not, keep support. Weight of your head. If you need to kind of move around a little bit in your upper body, if it feels good to bring one elbow a little forward and then the other, just be really mindful. Feet equal in the floor. And then we'll release our hands back up to our hips and bend our knees and rise on up to standing. We're going to inhale the arms all the way out and up. And on the exhale, bring the hands down together in front of the heart. Shift back to chair pose. Easily, let yourself just come on into a little chair. Have your weight a little more into your heels. Feel your knees lined up. And let's bring our right elbow towards our left knee. Doesn't mean you have to go that low. You can if you want. Rest your elbow on your knee in the twist or not. And then we'll come on back into center. And we're going to go to the other side. Letting yourself let that top elbow reach up and really press into that bottom elbow if it's on your leg. Coming back into center. One more breath here. And then press into your feet equally. Rise up to standing. Find your mountain pose for a breath. We're going to move with the breath here now. So really imagine that it is the breath carrying you through these next two sun salutations. And we'll release our arms down beside us and inhale the arms all the way out and up. And on the exhale, folding forward. Let your inhale lengthen out your spine. Exhale, right foot back to lunge. And inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let your inhale bring you to plank. Let your exhale lower you down. And inhale into your cobra. Exhale, back to down dog. Inhale. Exhale, right foot forward, lunge, and inhale. Exhale, standing forward bend. Bend the knees, rising up, arms all the way up. And on the exhale, we're going to fold forward. Inhale into that long back. Exhale, left foot back to lunge. And inhale. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale out to your plank. Let your exhale lower you down. Inhale into your cobra. Exhale, back to down dog. Inhale. Exhale, left foot forward to lunge. And inhale. Exhale, standing forward bend. Bend the knees, rising up all the way up to the top. And on the exhale, we're going to fold forward. Let your inhale lengthen out your spine. We're going to come to down dog. Place your hands, walk or jump, back to your downward facing dog. Move a little bit. Actually, see if you can lift one foot up at a time and circle the foot a little bit to release your ankle. Just play with that a bit. And then come on back into dog. Spread your fingers, elbows hug towards each other. We are going to bring our left foot forward, and we're going to come up for warrior two. Have your blocks handy here by your front of your mat in case you need them. Line up your heels here now. Float your arms on out. Circle your hands a little bit as you get your legs established. And open and close them too. And then bring your right arm under your left. Give yourself a hug. You can stay hugging if that's better for your shoulders. You can head towards your eagle wrap if you choose. Now feeling the feet equal in the floor. Letting yourself feel the shoulders away from your ears. Even if you rise the elbows up. Now make sure you're not tucking your tailbone forward. Feel the tailbone reaching down. And then we're going to unfold the arms. We're going to inhale the arms straight out from the shoulders, coming into warrior two arms. Reaching out through the fingertips equally. Good. Let's turn the left palm up. Bring your right hand onto your right leg. Slide the right hand down a little bit to give you support in your reverse warrior. One more inhale. And on the exhale, we'll come into side angle. So hand or forearm onto your thigh. Allowing that right arm to swing up in line if you're comfortable to do that. Take your time. Feel that pressure into right above your knee with your forearm or your hand. Good. Now bring your right hand down to your right hip. Look down at the floor and set up for triangle. I like to use a block. You know, remember you can use your leg. You can put the block inside or outside that left foot there. And then start to straighten that left knee out. Keep your gaze at your left foot for a second. Make sure you can lift your toes up. Make sure you're not rolling on that foot. And then you can draw your gaze back forward. You can stretch that top arm up, coming into your triangle pose here. Beautiful. One more breath. And now we're going to bend the front knee, come back to warrior two, press those feet away from each other, get strongly into the core body, maybe even bend a little deeper in that front knee if you want. And then we'll bring our hands down. We're going to turn our feet more parallel and setting up for a wide-legged forward bend. Grab your blocks if you want a block or two, remember. So once you get your hands on the floor of the blocks, walk your hands out as far as you can, almost like you're doing a down dog, with your legs really wide here. And let your chest melt down towards the ground. And you know, if this bothers your shoulders, don't do it. Let your chest melt down towards the ground. And then walk the hands on back. Walk over towards your right foot. And enjoy just releasing towards that leg. It doesn't matter how far you go. Feel the left foot pressing a little more away from the midline. And then we'll come back through center and we'll go to the other side. So just enjoy. Once you get as far as you want to go, really press that right foot gently away from the midline. Find that inner thigh, but try to let go in your upper body. And then we'll come back into center. Now, whether you want to traditionally walk your hands back between your feet or not is up to you. Stay out with the hands, or use your blocks if you want. Stack them up. Let yourself use support and stay with that long back if that's better for you than folding yourself down with the top of the head towards the ground. So blocks can be under your arms or under your head. Just be mindful, take your time. Nice, full, deep breaths. Feeling the ribs expand in all directions. So really feel the ribs expanding side to side, front and back. One more breath. And then walk yourself out a little bit so you can walk back over to that left foot to come on back into lunge. And we'll make our way back into downward facing dog pose. So take your time. Once you're in dog, right? Let yourself come out to a plank and lower your right knee down to the floor. Let the right foot go back a little bit like a kickstand, and then come into that side plank variation. Go ahead and bring your left hand to your hip. Stretch the left arm up overhead. If you want to lift the back foot up off the floor, do. That's totally optional, but just come into that little side plank variation. And then come on back with the hand. Come back to your full plank for a breath. And then we'll switch legs. Left knee comes down, foot hikes back a little bit. Bring that right hand on up to your right hip. And then you can decide if you want to reach the arm up, if you want to reach the leg up off the floor, do. Engage the belly. And then we'll come on back down, come back to your plank again. And then we'll make our way back to down dog. Now you're on your own. If you want to do a vinyasa or kriya, you can. You can come out to plank. You can move through chaturanga where you come down through that push-up, then to cobra to up dog, or you can just move from down dog to up dog if you choose. Don't push it. Stop and rest if you need. Put your knees down. And we're going to finish off back in downward facing dog pose. And from here, we're going to bring the right foot forward. And we're coming up for warrior two on the other side. So take your time, line your heels up. Get yourself, again, situated with that front knee bent no farther forward than your ankle. Arms float up, hands circle around a little bit. Just kind of explore movement with your hands. You can open and close them, shake them out if you want. And then we'll bring our left arm under our right and come into that wrap. Whether you do hugging, staying with the elbows melting down, or adding that eagle wrap. Really just enjoy releasing through the shoulders. So imagine the ears and shoulders having a lot of space between them. And then we'll bring the arms on down and inhale the arms straight on up and out from the shoulders. A little bit higher maybe. Let yourself soften the shoulders down. Feel like you're reaching equally through both sets of fingertips here now. Feet pressing gently away from each other on the mat. Nice. We're going to turn the right palm up. Inhale, reach up. Nice full breath here. And on your next exhale, come into that side angle. So again, hand or forearm onto your thigh, pressing down into whatever you're touching there on your leg, and then let that top arm come up in line if you can. If your shoulder doesn't let you, keep your hand down, right? Or have the arm straight up like we do in triangle if that's better. So just be mindful. Let it feel good. Let yourself feel your whole body here in your extended side angle. One more breath. And then bring that left hand down. Look down at your right foot and set up for triangle. Remember, whether you use a block or you use your leg or the floor, as you start to look down and straighten that right knee out, letting the torso extend out over that front leg. And then start to turn to look right to the wall right in front of you. And then stretch that top arm up if your shoulder lets you. Thighs are engaging up towards the hips. If you like to look up, you can, if that doesn't bother your neck. If it feels better to look down, look down. Good, so one more breath here in your triangle pose. Feel those 3 points, the top point and your 2 feet. We're gonna bend the front knee and come on back into warrior 2, pressing those feet away from each other. And then we'll bring our hands down. We're gonna turn our feet more parallel, and we're gonna come on forward again for that wide-legged forward bend. Once you get your hands down, whatever you wanna use, blocks to the floor, go ahead and bend a knee at a time. Take your time. Let yourself ease your way from one side to the other. And then come on back into center and let yourself go where you're comfortable to be. So if you want to hold your ankles, or maybe you feel like walking your hands back, way back behind you, or of course, use the blocks in front of you or your hands on the floor in front of you. Feel the feet gently press away from each other every once in a while. Imagine your inner thighs are melting their way behind you. And just breathe. So accept your breaths in and out. Enjoy those little spaces between your breaths, that little space at the end of your inhale before you exhale. And the same thing at the end of your exhale, that little space or pause before you inhale. And one more breath. And then we're going to walk ourselves back out with our hands. We're going to walk back to our right foot to come back into lunge. And we'll come on back into downward facing dog pose. You're on your own here. Do what feels good. Put your knees down if you want to. Right? You can come into child's pose. You can come into plank without doing a back bend. You can come through chaturanga if you like, that push up. So just move real mindfully. Let it feel good. Stay in dog if you'd rather. Finish off the one you're on, and we'll meet back in down dog. And we're going to bring our left foot forward this time for lunge. Now, grab your blocks. Let yourself get into lunge. And then we're going to lower that back heel down for a pyramid pose. So you probably will have to shorten your stance a little bit. That depends on you, how long your lunge was. But bring your heel in a little bit and down. Let yourself use however much height you want on your blocks of the floor. Both legs are straight. Thighs are engaging upwards. So now you're really getting into the backs of your legs. So enjoy. Make sure that front left foot is not rolling, right? The tendency is to roll to the outside of your foot a little bit. Try to make sure you really feel your big toe mound, your little toe mound down. Arches lifting up. Now, if you want to bow over your leg, you can bend your elbows and fold over. Or you can even put your hands on the floor. You can turn your fingertips back so that they face the foot of your mat if you want to. And one more breath here. And then come out just a little bit. And we're going to add a little twist. Keep your right hand on a block of the floor. Left hand to your left hip. And you're going to start to roll that shoulder up into revolve triangle. So thighs engage up towards the hips there, making space in your knees. You can stretch your arm up if you want, or keep your hand down. Good. And then we'll come on back into center. We're going to bend the front knee, find lunge for a breath, and we'll make our way back to down dog. So again, up to you here once you get in dog. Walk if you need to the tops of your feet. Move through vinyasas or kriyas if you choose. So put your knees down and rest if you need to rest. And then finish off. We'll meet back in down dog. This time it will be the right foot that comes forward. And get your blocks, of course, if you know you like them. Because we're going to head into that pyramid pose. Adjusting now to where you get your back heel fully on the floor. Legs are straight. Thighs engage upward. So you're really using all those muscles around your knees, Really opening up through the backs of the legs. Back heel is fully on the floor. It's turned in maybe 20 or 30 degrees. And then again, remember the front foot. You don't want to roll to the outside. Let yourself lift your toes if you want. And spread the toes a little bit. Feel the pinky toe mound and the big toe mound into the floor. And then you can lower the toes. And again, if you like to fold over your leg, you can fold over. That's totally up to you. Give the body time to adjust. Good. And one more breath. And now come out with a long back again. Remember, we're going to add that twist. So as you bring your right hand now up to your right hip and turn into that revolved triangle. Feel the thighs engaging upward. Try to stay pretty level in your hips here. Arm can go up if you want, or you can keep your hand down on your hip or your low back. All of that depends on your shoulders. Good. And then we're going to come on back down. Let yourself bring that back knee down to the floor and then join it with your other knee. And come on into child's pose for a breath here. Release your arms nice and long overhead for a second. Let your elbows then soften. And then come up enough to thread the needle with your right arm. Send it on through. You can turn that right palm up or down. If you can rest with the side of your head, right side of your head on the floor, do. Now you can stretch this left arm if that feels better to release your shoulders out overhead, or you can just let it be soft. Just breathe, release through the shoulders here. And then use your left hand to press you back up so we can just switch sides. So threading the needle with that left hand and coming down. Again, you can use your right hand to give you support too if you need under your head. Or you can stretch the arm out long. Or you can just soften the arm. Let the elbow release down and breathe. And then bring your right hand back by your face, press up. And we're going to come up to curl the toes under and then just shift back to your feet. Let your knees come up. Get your feet about hips distance apart and parallel. And then we're going to rise the hips up. And let yourself come into your standing forward bend here. Use support if you need, keeping your back long. Or letting yourself hold your elbows if you want, or put your hands behind your legs if you want to. Just go where it feels good, comfortable. Let it feel releasing. Good. And then we'll bend our knees. We're going to press into our feet and rise on up to standing. And inhale our arms all the way out and up overhead. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. So just enjoy. Find your mountain pose. Let it be fun. Let it be easy. Let it feel like really that you're just part of the space all around you. You've got all this energy now flowing through your body. And then we'll unfold our arms on down beside us. Shake out a little bit, move around if you need to. Let's bring our mats into a wall. We have plenty of room. You can bring the short edge of your mat all the way into a wall. I'm going to do the same thing. And let's bring our right hand towards the wall. And we're going to do a little tree pose, standing on our right foot. So those of you at home, you can go to a kitchen cabinet, or if you just have a little spot on a wall where you don't have a picture, if you're like me, that's hard to find. You either have windows or something on your wall. And then take your time coming into tree, either bringing the left foot into the inner calf or above in your inner thigh. You adjust what your hips like for you to do. And now at first, keep your right hand there on the wall. Bring your left arm up overhead. And then let the left hand come towards the wall so you're coming into a side stretch in your tree. You can touch the fingertips to the wall. Now feel as you're here, you're supported by your hand there. Feel the inner leg, whether it's it's your thigh or your calf, coming into that left foot. And the left foot coming back into the inner leg. And now slowly rise back up. Now find your core here. Rise the right hand up the wall. And maybe you can balance a little bit there if you want to release and turn your palms to face each other. Now you can keep your fingertips on the wall, it's fine. And now bring your right hand back to the wall. Lower your left foot down. We're going to bend the left knee and start to bring the left foot behind us. If you can reach back and hold on to the top of your left foot for calf quad stretch duty. At first, pull your heel in towards your buttocks a little bit. Let your knee really face down if you can. And then press that foot into your hand and start to let your chest come a little bit forward. And you don't have to go any further than that, right? If you want to balance, you can. You can bring the hand off the wall and balance with the arm overhead or even reaching forward a little bit if you want, or you can stay holding to the wall. And then we'll come on back up. We're going to turn around, and we're going to go the other side. So take care of that leg you're standing on if you need to, or the foot or the ankle. Now you'll come into tree so that you bring that right foot in. Your left foot is your supporting foot there. Let yourself really enjoy coming into hand still on the wall, rising that outside arm up, that right arm. And then again, just let yourself reach over there. Now if you're on the counter at home, you won't have a wall maybe. You might reach a cabinet, but just let yourself breathe. Enjoy. Feel the foot now coming into the inside of the leg coming back to your foot. Rise back up. Now you've got that right arm up. See if you can slide the left hand up higher up the wall, and then maybe even just let your palms face each other, come into a little balance there. Just put your foot down and readjust if you need to. You know that. Put your hand back to the wall if you need. And then left hand's going to come back to the wall. Take your foot on down. Bend the knee. Now again, if you can't get the foot, just flex the foot and bring the heel in towards the buttocks. If you can get the foot, see if you can pull the heel in a little bit towards the outside of your buttocks so that it's a different little quad stretch there. And then press the foot into your hand like you're trying to straighten your leg out. Send your chest a little forward. The knee will come back when that happens, right? And then you can decide, do you want to let go and balance? Or do you want to keep your hand on the wall, maybe even go a little farther forward and not worry about the balance part? Beautiful. And then we'll come on down. We're going to turn our backs to the wall. We're going to come down and put our toes right to touch the baseboard. Now, if you're not at a wall at home, don't worry. Just come on down into child's pose for a couple of breaths. You don't have to have your feet at the wall. And then we're going to practice just a little bit of down dog here. So if you are at a wall at home, you can allow yourself to stretch your arms overhead and come up to all fours and then curl your toes under. And if you're at a wall, you can have your heels up the wall, elbows hugging inward. And if you don't have a wall, just come into your down dog. And you may even want to bring one foot up in the air. So if you're at the wall, you can send one foot up the wall, or not necessary to do this. And then you can switch and go to the other side if you like doing these three-legged dogs, right? And then if you were doing those, come down, take a little break, bring your knees down. Take your time to relax for a second, take care of your wrists. And if you're done with this, be done and rest. You can always come to forearms. If you want to get out of your wrists, you can come onto your forearms and do all those same things. Those of you who are here, if you want to practice towards handstand preps, you know you're welcome to go up again on your hands, come up with a foot up the wall, or bring both feet up the wall if you want to, right? So you practice a little bit where you want to be. And if you're like, I do not want to do any of that, then rest how you need to rest. So whether you're on hands or forearms, that is up to you. Take your time. especially if it's been a while since you've been inverted and, really engaged in this way. So, good. So once you have finished, if you're still working, go right ahead for another breath or two. Those of you who are finished, try to come down onto your belly and rest, okay? So you make a little pillow with your hands, you rest your forehead on your hands, and you try to really let your legs release so that for a lot of us, our heels will hike outward. Try to let go through the buttocks so your glutes are relaxed and your legs. Breathe into your low back. Feel your breath coming in to expand your low back. Good. And then we're going to come on down. We're going to stretch our arms up to where they're coming towards the corners of our mat, the front corners of our mat, like a wide V. Right? And just for fun, from here, when you inhale, let your left leg and your right arm, opposite arm and leg, float up a little bit, and your head comes up too. And then when you exhale, come back down. And now try the other one. So opposite arm and leg, right leg, left arm, or opposite. And then come on back down. And we'll do it again, changing again, other side. Inhale up and exhale down. And then one more time, opposite. Inhale up, exhale down. Good. Bring your hands under your head if you can. Bend both your knees and flex through your feet. Pull your heels in towards your buttocks. And then come back to long legs. Now we're going to release our arms down alongside us. Turn your palms down towards the ground. And on your next inhale, float up into locust, reaching your fingertips and your toes back towards the space behind you. Good. And now come on down with your right forearm parallel to the front edge of your mat. Bend your left knee. Whether you reach back to do a half bow pose here is up to you. You can pull the heel in more towards your buttocks. You can push your foot into your hand if you have your foot. You can go up higher if you want so that you bring your forearm down more towards your waist. Good. And then we're going to switch. So once you come down with your head and you bring that right heel in towards the buttocks, you can stay right there. You can reach back, get your foot, pull the heel in a little bit like we did when we were standing. Then you can press the foot into your hand and come up a little higher, even drawing your arm back if you want and coming up higher here into the back bend. And then we'll come on down. Let's bend both knees. If you can reach back and get hold of the top of your feet, do. For bow, pressing the feet into the hands, that'll rise your head up and your chest a little bit. That might be plenty right there. If you want to lift your feet up, that gets you even higher. You can stay in locust. You don't have to do this bow pose, and you know it. And then we'll release and come down. And we're going to make our way back to child's pose from here. So shifting your way back. Take your time. Let it feel really good. Whether you want to bring your arms back alongside your legs with the palms up, or whether you want to put your hands under your head so that you give yourself support. And remember too, how far apart your knees are in child's pose. That is totally up to you. Good. So one more nice full breath here. And then we're going to bring our hands back by our knees and rise up and turn around with our legs forward. So get yourself on out there and bring the legs on forward. Take your time. And if you need a blanket, we'll do a simple twist here. If you need a blanket, grab your blanket. So remember, right leg's going to be long. Remember, I'm not mirroring. Left foot here to the inside of your leg somewhere. So you may want it down by the calf, which is my favorite place. Or you might want to bring it up above the knee to the inside of your thigh, right? So lifting up through the top of the head, nice inhale. And then as you exhale, left hand comes around behind you. You can let this right hand stay on your knee. You can bring the arm to the outside of the leg if you choose, if that feels good for your shoulder. Let yourself just lengthen up through the crown of your head. Good. One more breath here. And now as you exhale, come on back through center. We're going to twist all the way in the other direction. Now, bring your left hand to the top of your right long leg there and feel the inside of your left leg pressing into your arm. So you're engaged, lifting through the crown of the head. Good. One more breath. And then use your belly to bring you back around into center, and we are going to switch legs. So bringing that right foot up and in to the inside where you like, lifting up, taking a nice inhale. And as you exhale, right hand comes around behind you, left hand can be on that right knee. You can draw the arm across if that feels good. Let yourself lengthen up through the top of your head. Good. Just spacing your spine. Every time you inhale, imagine starting at the base of your spine and then just heading up all the way up to the top of the spine. One more inhale. And on the exhale, use your belly a little bit. Bring yourself back around through center and all the way around to put your right hand on top of your left leg and press that inner leg into your arm there. And just enjoy here. Feel both your sit bones in the ground. Feel that length upward. Good. One more inhale. And then on the exhale, use your belly to bring you back around. And we're going to roll down to the back, on our backs on the floor. If you don't want to roll down, don't. You know, if you want to bend your knees and roll down, you can. If you want to keep your legs long and roll down, maybe you're like, I don't want any part of that rolling down. So come down however you choose, down to your back on the floor. Bend your knees. And let your knees just easily come from side to side now. Release your arms out beside you. Let it feel good. Now, see if you can, as you let your knees go to the right, let your head roll to the left. And then when you come back to the other side, the head does the same thing. You look the opposite way the knees are going. But let it feel like you're just massaging through the back of your head there. Feels really easy, just releasing. And then finish off, come on back into center. Let's cross our right ankle above our left knee into that figure 4. And then, if your hips allow you to, draw your left knee in towards you. And you can clasp behind your left thigh, or if you want, you can clasp on your left shin. If your knee wants to bend that deeply and your hip lets you do that, right? So you can hold behind, you can let yourself hold your shin, or you can keep that left foot on the floor. You know that. Allow yourself to be where you're able to be. Releasing into that right hip. And then we'll lower the left foot down. We're going to uncross. And we're going to switch, go to the other side. So, again, you can keep the right foot on the floor in this figure 4 with the left ankle above your right knee. You can hold behind your thigh if you bring that knee in, or you can hold on your shin and just enjoy. Let it feel good. Like a real release here for the left hip. That right foot down, uncross your legs, bring both knees into your chest, send your feet up into a little happy baby pose now. Slide the knees on down. You can hold your ankles or your feet. You can roll side to side if that feels good. Take your time. You know, if you feel like you want to come into a wide angle, start to listen to what your body, how do you want to move? What do you need to do right now? You know, does your body feel like it's really ready to come into Shavasana? Do you need to do another pose? You know, if you need to do a plow pose, do a plow pose. If you need to do a bridge pose, do a bridge pose, all right? So really take your time to find whatever your body needs. Now, I cannot bring bolsters to people at home, but I certainly can do it here. I've found a way I can disinfect them. So if anybody wants, I'm just going to turn this off. If anybody wants a bolster or an extra blanket, because remember, if you don't have a blanket and you need one, I can always take it home and wash it. I have plenty. So let yourself be easy. We're going to do a little bit of guided breathing. So once you get fairly comfortable, if you don't like these Paloma breaths, don't do it. If you're comfortable to follow along and try a little bit with these controlled breaths, do them. So if you feel comfortable, just feel the breath coming into the belly. And then let your breath come in to rise your belly as you inhale. And then just let just a little breath out. And when you inhale again, feel it coming into your ribs. And then let just a little breath out. And then see if you can feel the breath coming up higher towards your chest on this last inhale. And when you exhale, just control the breath a little bit when it comes out. So it comes out evenly and gently. And then just breathe normally for a couple of 3 breaths. And then if you can, again, inhale into your belly. Exhale a little. Inhale into your ribs. Exhale a little. And then inhale up into your chest. And then again, when you're ready to exhale, control the breath a little bit. Letting yourself then come back to normal, natural breaths. So just take your time here now. Let yourself enjoy the feeling of the ground underneath you. Appreciating gravity holding you there. Allowing the breath to bring your body and your mind to a quieter place. As you let yourself completely and fully relax. toes lead you into moving. Your hands, your feet, your arms, your legs. You know you can stretch. If you need to stretch everything out, you can bring your knees in. If that's better for you, take your time. Just feel really good about coming into being there on the ground again. You know you're welcome to roll onto either your right or your left side. If you're comfortable to do that, to roll onto your side, you can let that be a little transition time for you. You can stay on your side a little while, or you can use that rolling to the side to give you the momentum to rise up if that's better. Just really take your time. So that when you do feel ready to rise up, it's easy to get comfortable in how you're sitting, whether you cross your legs or you stretch them out, and you can enjoy feeling the head floating up there again on top of your spine. Feel that sense of space in the spine, length that you created through all we just did. Coming back to your breath. And on your next exhale, let your hands come gently to meet there in front of your chest, in front of your own heart. And wishing